Okay. There, I hit it.
Yay! Aloha, fitness friends. I'm Leon Watanabe, and welcome to the LevelUP Lifestyle podcast, where we transform from the inside out using mindset, macros-based nutrition, and movement, all coming from a place of self-love and not load. And today I'm super excited because this is a long time coming. I have a special guest today, my BFF, my buff bestie, Jenna Seguin. Welcome, Jenna.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
Oh my God, I'm so happy that you decided to do this for me. I really appreciate it. So why don't you give our listeners or our watchers, our viewers, a little bit of rundown on who you are, where you're from, all that good stuff.
All right. I am probably, at least location-wise, exact opposite of Leanne. I have lived my whole life for the most part in Minnesota, currently in Minneapolis, Minnesota, right by Lake Nokomis. That's where I got my fun name from when I was thinking through of my fitness account of what that could be. I just turned 46 years old, and I am married to my husband Ryan, and we have 3 children together. 2 boys and a girl, Keenan, who is 14, Jack, who's 12, and our daughter together, Bellamy. I am remarried, so both of us had children from a previous marriage. And then I love smushed face pets. So we have a French bulldog and 2 exotic short hair cats.
I love that.
They're really fun and also adorable. And then I have a full-time corporate job at Best Buy. I work in supply chain, specifically focused on communication. So yeah, lots of
You
stuff.
are busy.
Yes. Everyone's, it's so funny. Yeah, everyone's busy, but I think it's just like, hey, how do you schedule and make things work? And a little bit of planning, which I'm a planner by heart. You can always make anything happen. I think, especially if it's a priority for you.
I love that. I know we kind of quickly went over it, but I get asked this a lot when I interview guest speakers about their Instagram handles. So your Instagram handle is at Nakomi's Chick Getting Fit, right?
Yeah.
And so I think we had talked about it when we met, and I was like, what is that? So you had said it's a river.
It's a little lake, like just a mile down from our house. And I thought, yeah, so it's Lake Nokomis. It's a nice little, I don't know, it's a very cute lake. There's a nice beach, a little restaurant, and it's so nice having something like that close. In the summer, whenever I do a walk or a run, especially not as much in the winter, but that's where I go.
I love that. So it's a lake by where you live.
Yeah.
Yes, and for those of you who don't know, right, like, so I'm in Honolulu, Hawaii, which is on the island of Oahu, and Jenna is in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
By your favorite, like not too far from the Mall of America.
Mall of America, yep. When we were talking about it, I was like, my husband, when we went there, that was his big to do, go to the Mall of America. Gang, a quick rundown. It's Jenna and I met, we were on the same team when we were both new TWW athletes, the Wonder Woman. We were coached by Janelle Marks, and we just became fast friends. I love the internet.
I'm thankful that we are on the same team together. And I always, like, you are such a go-getter. And I'm like, who is this woman? I have to get to know her better.
Yeah, it takes one to know one, right?
Gratitude, yes.
Yeah, I'm so glad, and we have since then graduated from TWW, and we are both now teammates on Team Dynasty training with coaches Carrie Hughes and Stephanie Ayala McHughes, right? Hughes, yep, yeah, Stephanie. Well, we just call them Stephanie and Carrie, and so today we're just going to talk about, get a little bit of deep dive. We're probably going to do this in 2 parts, gang. We're going to talk about Jenna's amazing transformation, because even throughout our journey with teammates, people who reach out to us on Instagram, ask us messages about our big changes, it all comes to the same sort of questions, right? How did you do it? How are you successful? How did you get support? So first off, let's briefly talk about what inspired you to start your transformation? Like, what year was it? What was that Jenna mindset back then?
Yeah. I first started, well, my first official, photo or check-in photo was April, I have it written down, April 15th of 21. Prior to that, I feel like I just had a couple harder years, and things that had happened included my father passed away. Um, there was a house that we were really interested in purchasing that, kind of fell through, and we actually ended up getting sued. That was very stressful.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
we had COVID. I had a new job at work. There were just so many new things that had happened that were all going on. And I was a new mom. I was not taking care of myself, and I was just not happy with who I was showing up every day. And I think I just wasn't dealing with a lot of things, like how I felt, what I was eating. It was just kind of the cycle of like getting through every day versus, hey, maybe all of this isn't the best and it's not making me happier or feel better. Like, what can I do to change some of that? And so my husband actually encouraged me. He was like, you love the gym and you love having a trainer. Why don't you get back into that? So I started, like, some of the only things that were open here were gyms. So I joined a gym and I did get a trainer, and we started working out together a couple times a week. Previously, I had had trainers in the past and done different things, but it had been a while. Mostly what I was doing was group fitness classes sporadically. So I was kind of uncomfortable, especially being at a heavier weight, going back into the gym and feeling good about knowing, how to use the equipment. So I think I needed that. I needed somebody with me to help me feel confident again about being in the gym. So for me, the right first choice at the time was just that. Um, but funny enough, I feel like things didn't really start coming together with all the way for me until, I had kind of like you were talking about macros and, lifting heavy and that sort of thing. I'm so thankful for my trainer that he did help get me back into the gym and feel confident knowing what I was doing there. But a lot of things that, we didn't focus on were the nutrition. He had a way of eating, that he was encouraging me to do, but it wasn't like necessarily the plan that I needed. But the cool thing about it was that I did lose about 30 to 35 pounds just, from
Wow.
getting back into the gym. I kind of just went all in. Like, I met with him twice a week. I went to some of their classes there, and eventually it merged into me asking him for some plans of what to do on my days off. And so slowly over, that course of time, I kept adding more training instead of cardio classes, because that was always kind of my default. It's hard to, I want to say, break up, but it's hard to break up with those classes. Like, I enjoy a spin class that kicks your butt, or, some of the cardio kickboxing or different things, like that whole group vibe of everyone kind of pushing each other. I really liked that. So it took me some time to kind of fully transition away from some of those things.
Yeah, I love that. I think the takeaway is that it's always a process, right? But it started with you making the decision that you were ready to change, right?
Yes.
Your why for wanting to change. And then at the encouragement and support of your husband, right? Having the support that kind of encouraged you to seek out some outside support, right? For accountability. But at the end of the day, like you had mentioned when you were talking about it, that you were all in. When you made the decision to commit, you went like full steam ahead.
Yeah, I was so for like several months in a row, I had a check-in at the gym like every day, just because it was like, oh my gosh, this is making me feel, but like I started feeling like my old self, and I just felt like slowly over time that was not just addicting, like the feeling, but I was feeling that confidence get back up. I felt like less stressed. I was not like as snappy, you know, when something didn't
Yeah.
necessarily go my way. So I'm like, I need to do more of this. And I know that's not always the answer, but at the time for me, it was just really helping me get through some stuff.
Nice. So on that, with this trainer, what were your initial goals with this first phase of your journey with the trainer, and how long was that kind of phase?
Yeah, when we first met, you know, you take your photo, they have a long questionnaire. I had to weigh myself and do all these things that were very uncomfortable for me. They did an in-body scan, which is a different version of a DEXA scan. I just remember being, you know, quite frankly mortified of like, oh my gosh, I don't want to see how much I weigh. I don't want, you know, all of this stuff. And I think the thing for me was even doing that, even though I didn't want to, like staying the same was worse, right? Like doing what I had been doing
I love that.
was worse. So I did it. I remember it was like a later night in early March, and it took a while to get in on his regular schedule or whatever. So I went in, we did the tests. I weighed around 185 pounds. I'm 5'5". A lot of that was in my stomach. My visceral body fat was incredibly high. And my initial thing was that I wanted to feel better and I wanted to lose weight. I mean, that was my primary goal. I knew I didn't feel good. I felt out of shape. You know, I wanted to change some of that. So it was just kind of that simple to start with.
I love that. And so that was, how long were you with your trainer, and what did you accomplish with that part?
So we started in March of 2021 and we ended in August of 2022.
Wow, like a year and a half.
Yeah, I
Good
was.
for you.
So over the course of that time, because just how I am, I met with him twice a week, every week, the whole time frame. But what
Good.
started to happen was I was realizing as I was getting more information and curious about things and wanting to get stronger and wanting to improve how I was eating as well and not do another fad type diet, that I was kind of outgrowing our relationship. I felt like I was really pushing him. I was watching, you know, I believe I found Joan McDonald first and then discovered the Wonder Woman like many people. And I was watching how these women were bench pressing and doing certain things. And I was pushing him to say, I want to do these things. And we, you know, weren't doing some of that together. And so the summer of 2022, I started my fitness Instagram account and I posted my picture, my first check-in picture ever. And I was like, I'm going to make a bid for getting into this team. And I was like determined. Every day or every little competition that they had going on, I tagged them. Everything that I was doing, even though it was still actually kind of embarrassing because I was watching myself on how I was doing it, even though I had a trainer versus how they were, and it was very different. I didn't care because again, I was just so focused on the goal. And by the end of August, so that started in June, August 31st, 2022, I got in.
I love that. We're gonna save that part for part 2.
Yeah.
That whole as you transition to the Wonder Woman, because I love that, because you made so many good points, right? I feel people sometimes they don't realize especially when you're feeling just junk in your body and you feeling like low and blue and you want to change and you're super uncomfortable and you know all of the things that are going to be required for you to make this change, and that kind of freaks you out, like you said, when you were going to have to go to the gym, weigh yourself for the first time in a while. It's almost like people get into this mindset or this thought like, I just need to do this thing for this amount of time and then that's going to create all these results and then I'm going to be the happiest I can be and live my life. I think what it's important that you're sharing with us that this is truly like a process that had started when you first were, you know, just realizing that you didn't like how you felt and that you needed to make a change. And then with that why, you started to seek out support for a change. So you started to do with what you knew, right? Go to the gym, hire a trainer who was great for a season of time in your initial early journey. But then as you got curious and you wanted more and you sort of like graduated, you know, you then started to put out feelers for other types of support or coaches to help you level up.
Yes, exactly.
And then that kind of led, like you said, to this discovery of the Wonder Woman official, which I think both you and I kind of started to find them right at the height of their, I guess, notoriety or whatever. You know, they're more getting a lot more popular. And I love that because I think it's important to let people know that you don't have to stay with one way or one coach the whole time, right? We evolve.
100%. And that's what I
Did you
think.
feel bad that you were wanting to break up with him?
No, I let him know that, you know, there was this group and he actually helped me do my, some of my check-in, or not my check-in, you know how we had to submit videos?
Yes, he did it for you to help you apply.
Yeah, and my videos are hilarious. Like I'm just hanging there trying to do a pull-up, you know, this stuff. And we were never filming when we worked together. So I think for me, I wasn't even realizing, you know, what I necessarily looked like as I was doing some of the lifts. So it was a whole evolution. But one thing that you kind of hit on that I think is awesome, and I think learning something new and learning from new people is the awesome part of the online fitness world. There are so many people that you have access to that we would never have access to, you know, probably even like 10 years ago, I don't know.
Yes.
And that's why it's just like you were saying, as you get in and you get curious, you start seeing more and more and different things. And then you want to work with people who are focused on the things that you want to focus on, whether that be macros, mindset, lifting heavy, doing a show, all that kind of stuff. There's so many choices out there, which is amazing.
Gang, so we're gonna leave it right there, but please stay tuned for next week because we're gonna do part 2. I mean, this is such a great story that is so relatable to all of us, and we had to cut it short because it was my fault. My iRobot vacuum ran over some cat poop and destroyed my house this morning, so I had to push Jenna back. I'm very, very sorry, but maybe we can even, yes, pull out some of those old videos when we first applied, right? And we'll like go over them. But thanks so much for joining us today and stay tuned, gang, for next week.
Bye.
Okay, let me just press stop real quick. Stop recording.